Hey there guys, Mike's here. I was just chilling as you see, and I'm here waiting for the long waiting second part of the Grape Finance protocol review. Let's start as soon as possible. So, do you remember, I hope I will link my first video in the description, what is basically Grape Finance and its main mechanism, the security aspect and all of that. So make sure to go back to the video if you don't remember something, and remember to hit a like and hit the subscribe button. So thank you for the support and let's start. So today we will see in detail the new play to earn game. That is one of the best play to earn game that is currently on Avalanche, because as you see of my 50 Solar token, and we'll talk about that later, and I think it's the one of the funniest and with the better graphic and well structured play to earn games that I've currently tried. So this game is so good because it's based on Avalanche, as I have already said. This is one of the best blockchain currently. There's a lot of investors, as this game is based on the structure of Pizza Game, that is another play to earn game. So let's start with the overview that you see here. You can see there is the main dashboard where you can manage your investments. So let's start with how this game works. So basically you will stake in this game your NFTs that we will see later. There's the NFTs that you can actually buy. You can see here there is the price, there's the price, there's the offer. They are all really cute. You can choose whatever is your favorite. So you buy it and you go in the winery section and you stake them here. In the staked section there will be your NFTs that are actually that are actually working, the resting ones, so the one that you pause it, and we will see later because you should pause them, and the unstacked. So I never suggest you to keep your NFTs in this section because they are totally unproductive. So you can see that's your earn of vintage for every minute, and that's the fatigue. Let's introduce the concept of fatigue. Obviously it's not hard to buy a cheap NFT and stake them here to have like a limited and constant earn. So they introduce the fatigue. So after a defined time span your fatigue will increase since you reach the max fatigue. I suggest you to let your NFTs rest before reaching their max fatigue, because at their point of saturation they won't produce at all. But as the fatigue going up, their production goes down. So basically you will earn more money managing with passion and dedication your NFTs and put them to rest and to work every time they really need it. So I suggest you to switch them around 50% because I've tried the game. I don't like to talk about the games that I haven't tried myself. So that's the cost to recharge your NFTs if you don't want to wait. Basically you can see that you can pay that with Rising. Basically that's the button to mint Rising coins, and you see that they are minted using a lot of Grape ecosystem tokens. So you can mint them with the Grape meme TJ, the Grape meme SV, Dix Grape, really cool token, I will talk about them, the vintage meme and the normal meme. So you see that my wallet balance is now equals to 0, but if I wanted I can connect another wallet and buy some of these rising coins to reset the fatigue of my NFTs, of my favorite one. So I've already talked about binary, so let's start to tools and skills that are basically the same concept. You can see that you have 3 sections. That is a structure similar to the binary, so to the NFTs hub. Let's name that like this. I think that the skill tree is really an incredible thing because I really love games with a sense of progression, and in this way you can actually earn also having fun, because you are upgrading yourself using your own investments and buying, you can see the quality skills, so the premium corks, the temperature control, like upgrading your binary. It's a really cool thing because all of these skills are not random things, they are contextualized into the binary world. So you can see the night shift, you can see the wine mixer, it's all regarding wine and grape finance. It's a form of currency that I really love. You can buy that skill points using your rising coins, your rising tokens, and basically, obviously, you will spend a little bit of them, but I can assure that your payment will be compensated because the skills really helps you to earn your vintage tokens more quickly. So that's basically the same things for tools, but we will talk about them in detail later watching the white paper, you know. That's the seller. Basically, that's another dashboard where you can see that's the total stake vintage, that's the total value locked in all this seller. But you can basically, as you have already known, I hope, stake in your vintage token, the one that you earn with the previous game, and earn S vintage. You can basically stake all these bond tokens that we have seen before in the play to earn game with your NFTs to earn vintage token to earn S vintage. This S is for Solera, you know, you are buying Solera to farm S vintage, that you know, S is for Solera, so you can basically farm S vintage, Solera vintage in this hub. And let's see what Solera vintage means to you. Why you should farm Solera vintage. So basically this is the Enoteca, and you can see the staking annual percentage rate, you can see my stats that are actually equals to 0 in this moment. But why you would actually invest your money to farming vintage, to stake them and starting Solera vintage? It seems a really long and complex problem. So basically you want to stake your vintage tokens and farm them to obtain Solera vintage that you will another time stake to collect finally the wine token. And if you remember the first video, I suggest you to go to retrieve it. The wine token is basically the share tokens of every tomb fork, because I remember that Grape Finance main mechanism is a tomb fork that have some upgrades, let's say, respect to other tomb fork, but I already talked about it. So the main meaning of all this process is to farm wine token, and that's last but not least is the leaderboard, you know. So if you are a competitive player, if you are a competitive person, you can basically challenge yourself with all the people that are actually playing this game. So you can level up to be more competitive, you know, you can see the fatigue. So this is like a method to basically earn money having fun. You see that all of this game is a pretty nice graphic, you know, the NFTs are really kind, and we will return later about the NFTs because there is a particular section that I've talked about. So you can see here's the brewing station, and the brewing station is basically a, you know, like a schedule that gives you all the infos that you basically need. So that's the value of the tokens, that's the vintage PM, that's the max fatigue. So in the moment that I open this brewing station, this software, you know, will make me know the moment it will reach the max fatigue or the half of the max fatigue, and I suggest you to change your NFTs at this point. You can see my current fatigue of my character, and you can see in detail my reset cost in vintage and rising. So here you can also see the normal staking, the master staking, and the two staked. If you have been giving me attention, you will asking what's this masters for? What's the masters? So let's return to the NFTs. You can see has the cost, you know, 2 AVAX, 1.75, 1.5, 2, 1.4. And you can see now, for example, I don't know, okay, 10.75. Why? These NFTs cost so much respect the others, you know. The others have a medium price of 2 AVAX, and they have that confirms that they are masters. So basically master vintage are the best ones because obviously they value a lot of more, like 5 of others NFTs, because there are less master vintage. They have a reduced fatigue, they have exclusive beneficial, you know, unique skill set, and they produce a lot of more respect to other vintage. So you definitely want to have at least one master vintage in your vintage team, you know, to help you farm more money in less time. So returning to the brewing station, we also, the vintage urn, the storage use, a lot of is full of useful, information to keep your eyes on all this thing together, to have not to switch to one spreadsheet to another, to the app, to the site, it's all here, it's like you see the binary manager. It's all you need to know to keep on your eyes all the thing at the same time. It's really useful. So let's pass to the white paper as I announced before, and let's see in detail what is the Winemaker game. We have already talked about the general things. You can see the summary. You can read by yourself, but I will do a little bit of reading. There are 10,000 of vintners available to mint. So you can see there are more than 10,000 vintners available to mint for the equivalent of $50 in a box of 50 grape. But I'm sorry to advise you that the minting is over. So now you can basically only buy NFTs by other players. You can see that here I was on FT Trade. That's for me the best way to get them. It's the best website definitely to make as I said, trade on NFTs, as this name say. So as you see, vintners can be staked in binary to produce vintage token. We already talked about them. You have not to overwork them, because as I said, their value will goes up and they will produce less. The 25%, so a quarter of the mint AVAX, of the total mint AVAX revenue, will be used to vintage meme token liquidity pair on swap cycle. I've already token that you can stake a vintage token in the chillers. So yeah, that's it. At the beginning of the game, you can only stack up to 5 winters. As you improve your winery and progress your skill tree, the amount of winters you can stake increase. So basically you have to break the game to implies your team of work, like in a real industry or in a real project. So you can mine it in game with various LP token. We have seen the bond before, lot of cool features. So that's things that we already know. You can see here the vintners have a maximum supply limited to 10,000, as I said before. When minting a vintner, there is a 5% chance that you will mint a master vintner. As I said before, this thing is not now available because you don't buy the NFTs directly by the website Grape Finance, but you have to buy this using NFTs trade to other players, and the minting revenue will be split by the following way. So half of them are AVAX, that is used for the liquidity pair, and 50% of them is the Grape Finance treasury. And the other half will go to the Grape Finance treasury to support and development. So let's pass to the tools section. If you want to make more vintage tokens, you have two options. Obtain more vintage, but we see that their number are limited by minting or purchasing them, or you are able to mint wine making tools. So tools, as the skill tree that I've talked before, is basically a method to earn more vintage token in less time. So as you see, the game is started with 2 tools, but now we can see there are a lot of them. So basically that's all. I have to thank you for your attention, and remember to stay tuned to other reviews of protocol on other learning videos as the one I posted. Hope you to have a great weekend and go to the moon!